All right, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for yoga this week. We're going to get into the hips a little bit of flowing. If there's any specific intention that you want to work with today, feel free. There's not a super big theme that we're weaving into the movements themselves, just that we're going to move in our bodies and let it feel good. So maybe that's your intention. Let it be that simple. Move well, and just get into your body for 45 minutes to an hour. So we are going to start in Child's Pose. So whenever you're ready, you can get there. If you need blocks, straps, whatever, you can grab them. We're not using anything specifically today. I'll see you on the mat. So in this Child's Pose, maybe have your toes touching knees apart. Really sink your hips down to your heels. And then I want you to think about really getting into your hips. So we're not going to take this Child's Pose still. You're going to move a little bit. Maybe that move is some swaying side to side. Maybe that movement is coming up onto the fingertips and then back down to the palms. Maybe it's just kind of rocking the head side to side or massaging out the forehead on your mat. But I do want you to be moving here. Almost like you're a child. No rhyme or reason to this, not trying to move in a certain way, but just what feels good in your body. Start to, from here, settle into a little more stillness, almost like all that movement has allowed you a chance to just settle. And here for the first time, maybe today, just feel your breath. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. Just feel it. Feel the rising and the falling. 2 more breaths. One more breath. Good. On your next inhale, start to bring yourself up, really round your back, come up to a nice tabletop position. Stay in this cat pose. Really tuck your hips in, tuck your chin down. Really press the middle part of your back up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your belly. Inhale, reverse that. Take a nice, big, deep back bend here. Something that feels good. You don't have to necessarily overexert yourself here in this very first back bend, but let it feel good. Exhale, round out again. Inhale, back bend. Just one more cat-cow. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, back bend. Exhale brings you back to a nice tabletop centered position. Tuck your toes behind you. Really press the ground away. See if you can hover your knees off the ground just 1 inch. So really start to fire up the belly here. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your belly. Press the ground away. Shoulders start to turn on a little bit. We won't stay here super long, just enough to kind of feel a little bit of heat come into our body. Maybe our breath starts to pick up just a tad. Next exhale, press your hips up and back to your first downward dog. Pedal your feet out here, side to side. Maybe bend into the right knee, pause for a second, then bend into the left knee, pause for a second. Or you can just pedal back and forth real quick, whatever feels good for you. On your next exhale, kind of roll forward out towards a plank. Lower your knees down towards the mat, but again, hover them 1 inch off the ground. Keeping your feet hovered off the ground or your knees hovered off the ground. Inhale, take your right leg straight back behind you. Next exhale, step it forward in between your hands. Drop your left knee down towards the ground. Inhale, climb on up to your thigh here with both hands. And we're gonna kind of continue with that cat and cow motion. So as you inhale, squeeze your left butt cheek, let your hips sink down, then forward, open up your chest. As you exhale, tuck everything in, pull your hips back. You're kind of stacking this left hip right over your left knee. Inhale, the back bend, everything shifts forward. Exhale, round it out, everything shifts back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Good, inhale, come on forward, plant your hands, tuck that toe behind you, hover that left knee off the ground, step your right knee back to this little floating tabletop. Take one inhale, exhale, press back to downward dog. Pedal the feet out once more. A different sort of vinyasa here. We're not really traveling all the way through, no chaturangas yet or anything like that, but definitely moving. Exhale, roll forward, pull yourself to that plank, lower your hips to that hovering tabletop. Inhale, take your left leg straight back. Pause here for a second. Next exhale, step it forward in between your hands. Drop your right knee down. Bring your hands up to the left knee. Inhale, find your back bend, hip shift forward. Exhale, round it out, everything shifts back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale, bring your hands towards the mat. Tuck your back toe. Just hover that right knee. Step your left foot back. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Open up the hip. Don't bend the knee though. So the hip is open. You're actually just kind of looking for a little extra height in that right leg. As you exhale, keep your legs straight. Sweep it out and around. Step it to the outside part of your right hand. So in this little like wide leg, if our right knee was bent, we'd be in like a lizard lunge. But when this like wide leg sort of pyramid pose, great time for a block here if you don't have a lot of room. Otherwise, just hang out, enjoy this little intense stretch here in the right hamstring. It's okay for your feet to be staggered. Left foot's kind of in the center of the mat. Right foot might be off the mat or off to the right side of the mat. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, just pivot on your feet. Don't move them. Walk to your left, all the way to the back of your mat. So when you walk all the way to the back of the mat this time, your feet are going to feel like they're crossed. Your left foot is still kind of on the center of your mat. Your right foot is still over towards now it's your left side of the mat. That's okay. Bend into that right leg a little bit. Plant your right hand. The left leg. Plant your right hand and gently kind of twist open and press out on that left knee. Okay. So we're a little crisscrossed here. That's all right. No big deal at all. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, plant your hands. You're going to step this right foot forward behind your left foot so your legs are crossed. Hang out here in this forward fold. You can make it as passive or as active as you want. Beautiful. From here, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands. You're going to step your right foot back first, then your left foot to a plank. Lower the knees, hover them off the ground about 1 inch. Exhale, press back to downward dog. Inhale, float your left leg up and back. Open up the hip. Don't bend the knee. Really reach it up there. Find some extra height. Keep the legs straight. As you exhale, sweep it out towards the side. Step it to the outside of your left hand. Coming up on the fingertips, this little wide leg pyramid pose. You kind of have an idea where we're going, so the transitions might be a little smoother this time around. Enjoy the stretch first. Take one more inhale. Exhale, start to pivot back to the original front of your room. Keep pivoting, feet turn all the way facing forward. Your legs are sort of crossed. Left hand stays on the ground. Right hand comes to the right knee. Gently press out on that hip. Twist yourself open. Still feeling the rising and falling of that breath. Next, exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your left foot forward behind the right. You can, again, make this passive. Maybe just grab your elbows and hang heavy, or you can make it active. Try to reach your chest out a little further. A little bit of strength in your belly, not folding or not rounding forward so much, but just hinging at the hips a little more. Next, exhale, plant your hands. Left foot steps back to a plank. Right foot steps back to a plank. This time, let's lower down for our first full vinyasa. You can take a knees, chest, chin, or a full chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Open up the hip. This time, bend the knee. Really find some height here. Really find some openness. Keep the same openness. Extend your right leg up again. Exhale, keep it straight. Step it to the outside part of your right hand. Again, find that little pyramid pose for a breath or two. Good. Next, exhale, start to pivot towards your left all the way to the back of the mat. Legs are going to be crossed here. Let's find that little lunge twist. Left hand comes to the left knee. Twist yourself open. Gently press out. Next, exhale, both hands to the mat. Right foot steps forward. Those legs are crossed. You're in a forward fold. Your left leg is in front. This time, though, as you inhale, hands come out in front of you. Just slightly float your right leg back up towards the ceiling for standing splits. How high can you lift that right leg? Don't worry about your alignment here. Let that hip open up. Reach it up high. Just let it feel good today. Good. Next, exhale. Reach that right foot down towards the back of your mat. Inhale up, Crescent Pose. When that right foot lands, they don't have to be crossed. You can land that right foot back over towards the center of your mat a little bit. So you're either on like a tightrope or railroad tracks, just a little widened here. Strong hips here. Really squeeze that right butt cheek. See if you can get that right hip flexor fired up. We've done a lot for the hamstrings. We're going to keep firing up those hamstrings, but we want to start to wake those hips up as we increase into a little more range of motion as we go. Next, exhale, open up. Warrior two. We'll keep building on this. Last pose here. Just enjoy. Feel strong through the legs. Everything is zipping up towards the midline of your body. Not so much how much you can go down and out away, but how wide can you get and still zip up in. Take one more inhale. Next, exhale, bring your hands towards the mat. Lower that right knee down almost to the mat. Step back to that hovering tabletop. Take one inhale here. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Find a little more space. Inhale, re-extend that left leg. Keep it straight. Exhale, step it forward outside of your left hand. Enjoy this little wide pyramid pose. One breath. Two breaths. Next, exhale. Start to pivot yourself all the way to the back of the mat. Legs are sort of crossed. Left hand stays, right hand to the right knee. Open up. Take one more inhale. Next, exhale, both hands to the mat. Left leg steps forward behind the right leg. Forward fold. Reach the fingertips out in front of the toes a little bit more. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back. Standing split. Strong belly here, strong hips. Maybe play with balance. Might be a little early in the practice, but if you feel good, you feel good. Next, exhale. Left foot comes down towards the back of the mat. Inhale, rise up, Crescent Pose. Again, we take a moment to kind of be here and to be still. So, squeezing the hips, Bracing the belly. You're not trying to go into a back bend in this low lunge, but rather straight up. Really good for your hips. You can also focus a lot on your shoulders here. Are you someone that has limited shoulder mobility? Your arms are up here. So you can lock your shoulders down and just work back. Maybe you can find it, maybe not. I don't have super great overhead mobility. My arm's still slightly in front of my ears. That's okay. Next, exhale, open up. Warrior two. Again, make your little adjustments. Front knee pointing right over that toe. Getting wide as you want. Feel a nice little stretch through the legs. And then zip it all up. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze your butt. Shoulders relax down. Take one more inhale. Exhale, windmill those hands down towards the mat. Step all the way back to a plank this time. Take a full vinyasa, lower down. Chaturanga, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind. Open up the hip, bend your knee. Inhale, straighten that leg again. Exhale, step it forward outside of your right hand. Take a breath. Moving a little faster this time. Next exhale, start to pivot towards your left, all the way to the back of the mat. Legs are crossed. Inhale, twist open, left hand to left knee. Next exhale, hands towards the mat. Step that right foot forward. Your legs are crossed into this little forward fold. Hands a little further out in front of you. Inhale, standing splits. The right leg floats up. Next exhale, right foot comes down towards the back of the mat. Inhale, rise. Crescent pose. Exhale, open up. Warrior two. Inhale, lean back. Reverse warrior. Now, in this reverse warrior, what I want you to think about is not leaning back so far, but reaching your left arm straight up towards the ceiling and then sinking lower into your lunge. So going down and up rather than just leaning back. Both ways will kind of create a little extra space on the left side. Next, exhale, triangle pose. Straighten your left leg, tilt into it. Where can you be without the use of your arms, right? How wide, how open can you be using the strength from your legs? So a lot of times we like to get down here in triangle pose, but we have so much weight and so much pressure into our arm that's down on the ground. I want you to hold triangle pose with your legs. Take one more inhale. Exhale, turn your left foot parallel to your right, fold forward into this wide leg forward fold. Any variation here will do. Maybe you want to clasp your hands behind your back. Maybe you just want to rest them on your back. Maybe you want to grab elbows in front of your face. Maybe you want to grab your feet and pull you in a little bit. Inhale, halfway lift. Next, exhale, turn back towards the front of your mat. So you're actually framing the right foot. Lower your left knee down almost to the ground. Hover at 1 inch. Step back with that right foot, that hovering tabletop. Good. Inhale, take your left leg out towards the left, like you're peeing on a fire hydrant. Really tough pose here. Really fires up the left hip. Really makes your shoulders and your belly work. Stay for 2. Stay for 1 more. Next exhale, come back to that regular hovering tabletop. Press back to downward dog. Nice job. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back. We're going to keep moving. Open up the hip. Bend the knee. Re-straighten that leg. Find some height. Exhale, step it forward. Outside of your left hand. 1 inhale here. Oh, good. On your exhale, pivot to your right, all the way to the back of the mat. Right foot forward, left foot's behind you. Right hand to right knee. Open up into your twist. Next, exhale, both hands to the mat. Left foot steps forward behind the right foot. Legs are crossed, that forward fold. Hands slightly come out in front. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back, standing splits. Find some height. Next, exhale, left foot comes down towards the back of your mat. Inhale up, Crescent Pose. Exhale, open, Warrior Two. Inhale, lean back, reverse warrior. Remember, right arm going straight up towards the ceiling, and then sit a little lower into your lunge. Really strong. Left foot is just as strong as your right foot. Left leg just as strong as your right leg. Next, exhale, straighten your right leg, tilt, triangle pose. Take one more inhale. Good. Next, exhale, right foot pivot so it's parallel to your left. Another wide leg forward fold. Options here. Enjoy the stretch again in whatever variation you choose, or play with a little bit of arm balance. You could press up into a handstand, maybe drop your head down for a headstand, or maybe a little bit of bent elbows, wiggle the feet in, and take a crow pose. I think for me today, headstand feels kind of good. That's where I'll go. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths. Stay for 2. For 1. Wherever you might be at with control, try to come back down towards the ground. Everyone's going to pivot back towards the front of your mat. You're framing that left foot. Plant your hands. Step back to that hovered tabletop position. Inhale, take your right leg out towards the side like you're peeing on a fire hydrant. Ooh, you can hear it in my voice. It's a tough pose. Right hip is really cramping. Belly's really strong. Shoulders pressing the ground away. Stay for 2. Stay for 1. Bring that right foot down. Press back to downward dog. Nice job. Inhale, come high up onto both toes. Exhale, set your knees all the way down towards the mat. Press your hips back for child's pose. Well-deserved break here. Take a couple breaths. Maybe just like we started, just a little bit of movement, something that feels good. Okay, back to it. Next inhale, go ahead, bring yourself up to nice tabletop position. Tuck the toes behind you. Hover the feet off the ground just an inch. Exhale, press back to downward dog. Just passing through it that time. Didn't have to hold it long. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind. Open up the hip, bend the knee if you want to, or keep it straight. It's up to you. This time, though, as you exhale, you're going to step forward in between your hands. Bend the right knee. Inhale, sweep up, Crescent Pose. From Crescent, take one more inhale. Next exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Step your left foot behind your right, so that cross-legged forward fold we've been doing. From here, inhale, sweep all the way up, real nice and tall. Reach the arms up over your head. Now, your right leg should be in front, so you're going to inhale, bring the right knee up into your chest. Open up the right leg to the right. Internally rotate your hip so it looks like you're kind of kicking your foot back behind you. And then a big giant hip circle steps behind you. See if you can land that right foot down towards the ground without crashing. Right knee comes all the way down towards the ground. Inhale, shift your hips down and forward, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, half splits. Don't bring your hands down towards the ground. So you pull your hips back, Straighten your left leg and lean out, not down. Inhale, back to your lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale to your lunge. Exhale, half split. Now, really easy transition to get to the other side. Come back to that low lunge, hands towards the mat. Step your right foot behind your left. So now your left foot is in front of this cross. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Reach tall, bring the left knee into your chest. As high as you can. Open it up towards the side. Oh, a little wobble. Internally rotate that hip. Looks like you're kicking your left foot behind you. Sweep it all the way back. As controlled as you can. Don't crash. Left foot down. Left knee down. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale forward. Hands down towards the mat. Step your left foot forward to a forward fold, regular forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up all the way. Exhale, fold right back down towards the mat. Pretty traditional here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back, lower down. Take a vinyasa. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward dog. Chance to try all that again, the exact same thing. We're just going to start with the left side instead of the right this time. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Open the hip. Feel free to bend the knee if you want. You don't have to. Exhale, step that foot forward in between your hands. Bend the left knee. Inhale, sweep up. Crescent pose. Exhale, hands towards the mat. Right foot steps behind the left for this forward fold. Inhale, sweep up nice and tall. Reach the arms up. Left knee comes into your chest. Open it up towards the side. Internally rotate. Sweep it behind. Left foot lands softly. Left knee lands softly. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, half split. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, half. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, half split. Inhale, come on forward, plant your hands. Left foot steps behind the right. Inhale, rise all the way up. Right knee comes up into your chest. Open it up towards the side. Arms can kind of go wherever you want here. Internally rotate, continue to bring it behind you. Soft landing, right foot, right knee. Inhale, reach the arms for your lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale. Exhale. You can see I'm doing lots of different things with my arms, just kind of whatever feels good. Inhale, last time. Exhale, half split. Inhale, come forward. Step that right foot forward to a forward fold, a normal one. Feet beside each other. Heel toe those feet, about the width of your mat apart. We'll take a little gorilla pose here, kind of continuing getting into the hamstrings and hips a little bit. You're going to take your hands. You can either just hold on to your toes if you don't quite have the mobility. Of course, if you can't even touch your toes, you have two options. Bend your knees a little more to get down there, or just rest your hands on blocks. If you can, get your whole hand underneath your foot. This can kind of feel like a good massage for the wrist. I want you to put your toes right up into your wrist crease. Bend your elbows, bend your knees as much as you need to. Get the whole backs of your hands down onto the ground. And very gently, 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 can't express that enough. Work towards straightening your elbows and turning them forward. It's working towards that. It doesn't mean you can actually do that, but gently kind of want to go in that direction. The more you press your toes into your hands, I think the better it feels, like a little massage. Spend a moment hanging out. Take one more inhale. Exhale, go ahead, rock back into your heels, release those hands, heel, toe your feet. Not quite all the way back together, but just a little narrower than hip distance apart. Start to sit your butt down towards the ground. You're coming all the way down. Maybe a little crash, roll onto your back. Okay, if your feet are not perfectly where you want them, maybe make a little adjustments for bridge pose here. Once you're set up, that's where I want you to go. All four corners of your feet pressing down and towards the ground. Inhale, squeeze your butt, lift your hips up off the ground. If you can here, think about pressing your thighs up towards the ceiling more than your hips and your waist up towards the ceiling. We want to really fire up the glute muscles and the quad muscles here and not rely on our lower back. So I'm fired up here on a scale of like 1 to 10. I'm probably squeezing at like a 5, something I can kind of sustain. I'm not as high as I possibly can go. I know I'm gonna be here for a while. We're just kind of using this bridge pose like a plank pose. Just get in it and just hold it. We want to kind of get to a point where we start to feel like it's work. Butt's firing up a little bit. Quads are firing up a little bit. See if we could stay for 5 more breaths. We're really burning now, but keep the breath calm. Don't start to relax and just hang out. Keep pressing, keep staying active. Just 3 more breaths. 2 more. Last breath, big inhale. Next exhale, lower down slowly, don't crash. Oh, what a relief. Bring your right ankle to your left knee. Go ahead and pull that left knee into your chest. Give yourself this little figure 4 hug, this reclined pigeon pose. Take 1 more inhale here. Go ahead, next exhale, go ahead and release. Bring both knees into your chest and start to gain a little bit of momentum by rocking forward and back. Maybe 3 to 5 rocks, maybe even shorter than that, rocks you all the way up to a seat. So I'm gonna turn to you guys so you can see, but you're still facing the front of your mat. Legs are wide. If you do have a block, it can be used 2 ways actually. It can be used to help scale this down a little bit if you just put a block underneath your hips, or you can use the block to make this actually harder in the opposite direction by bringing it out right kind of in the center of your legs. Actually, we're just going to work on some hip flexor lifts and some range of motion in our hips. So all you're going to do, hands down on the floor, try to be on your fingertips and keep yourself up really straight or just slightly lean forward. We don't want to start leaning back when we do this. If that's all you have access to, that's fine, but trying to lean forward. You're gonna keep pressing through your heel. I want you to lift your right leg up off the ground and imagine stepping it over a block. Lift it up again and bring it all the way back to where it was. And then we go to the left side. So if you actually have a block, you actually need to step this over the block. We're gonna do 5 on each side. That was 1. Right leg, right leg. Try not to go fast and use momentum. Try to use strength. Left leg. You can see how kind of slow and controlled I'm moving. Left leg, that's 2. Right leg. Hands off the mat is going to make it even more challenging. You can see even me, I lean back a little bit every time I go to lift that leg. Trying to stay forward. 4 on the right, 3 on the left. Here's the 4th one on the left. Last one on each side. Right leg, left leg, left leg. Nice. job. Bring both feet in together. Find this nice little butterfly position. I'm not staying here super long, another breath or two. Again, movement is always welcome in poses. For some reason today I'm a little fidgety, so I'm just kind of welcoming in the movement, not really making any pose super static. Maybe you need stillness. Maybe you need to be, you know, still and quiet and really listen in today. You need a little more grounding. I feel like I just got to kind of be on the move, go, go, go for some reason right now. So just honoring that, wherever you might be at. Go ahead and bring your feet back down flat onto the ground. A little bit of belly work, just as slowly as you can, lower down towards the mat. Again, you guys are already facing the front of your mat, so I'm getting there. Arms out, really slow. Try not to crash. Try not to slide. Once you do, come all the way down. One more bridge pose. Make little adjustments for your feet. Squeeze your butt. Press your thighs up towards the ceiling. We won't stay probably quite as long as the last one, just because it's not going to take that long for our legs to fire up here. They've been working a little bit, those hip flexors especially, so really squeeze your butt so you can actually find a little bit of stretch in those hip flexors. This should feel good. A little counter pose with some strength is always nice. Stay for 3. Stay for 2. Last one. Don't crash, but lower everything down towards the mat. This time, left ankle comes to your right thigh. Bring that right thigh in towards your chest. Try to keep your tailbone down on the ground, right? Full spine is nice and flat. You don't want to curl up here during the stretch. If this isn't accessible to you, you can just grab the pant leg. And if that's not accessible to you, you can actually just leave the right foot down on the ground, gently press the left knee away. Right? Plenty of modifications, plenty of ways to make the pose work for you, not the other way around. We don't want to work for the poses, but make them work for us. Let them work their magic. You find the one that's getting at the intention, right? So the point of this stretch is, or pose, right, is to kind of stretch out this left hip. And it doesn't have to look like this to do that. So as long as you're getting that stretch there, your spine's flat, your belly's strong, you're doing it right. Take one more inhale. Exhale, go ahead, release, bring both knees into your chest for a little hug. This time kind of open up the knees wide. Maybe even go for a little happy baby. Next, exhale again, start to find a little bit of momentum, rocking forward and back. Rocking all the way up to a seat. This time you're going to have the legs straight out in front of you. You're going to kind of work towards a nice deep forward fold, but in order to do that, your range of motion probably is actually going to be less at the start of this. So we're going to get some muscles really, really fired up here, and then we'll relax into that deep forward fold. So what I want you to do is, again, block if you absolutely need to, okay? Like if you can't sit real straight up here, a block underneath your hips is great to help you find a little extra room. Hands and fingertips down towards the mat. I want you to start to lean out, not rounding. Your spine should be super like neutral here, okay? It looks flat, but it's got just the natural curves in it. Hinging from your hips. From here with your hands down on the ground, try not to lean back. I want you to think about lifting both legs up towards your belly. It's okay if they don't actually lift off the ground. That's not the point. The point is you're firing up those muscles that sort of compress your body together. So what I like to think is not lift my legs up, but I think I'm trying to pull my thighs to my belly button. I want my belly button and my thighs to connect as much as possible. And you can see even I have a really hard time getting my feet off the ground. 2, 1. Relax. Just go ahead and round your spine. Lean out over this forward fold. Come back up just a little bit. Find that nice flat back again. Maybe you can hinge out a little deeper this time. Maybe you're in the same spot. Same thing, we'll like 5 to 10 seconds. Lift up those legs towards the belly. Try to compress your whole body together. Go. Yep, even this time I don't have any height in my legs. 5, 4, 3, here it is. 2, 1, relax. You can pull the toes, you can point the toes, whatever feels good. Maybe round it out, maybe a little deeper this time. We're gonna do that one more time. Enjoy the relaxation here first. Take one more inhale. Go ahead, next exhale, come on back up again, nice flat back, you're hinged forward, maybe hinge a little further forward this time. Here we go, lift those legs up, press that belly down, combine everything together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, last one. Real nice, deep forward fold. You probably find yourself having a little more room here than when we started. Take one more inhale. Next exhale, start to bring yourself back up nice and tall. Go ahead and roll all the way down onto your back. Let's take a couple twists here just to kind of reset everything. I want you to bring your knees into your chest. Okay, knees are stacked together. I want you to keep the knees stacked together as we twist and drop both of them over towards the left. So a lot of times what happens is you can see this right leg slides up, right, or off of the left knee. I want you to keep the knees perfectly stacked together. That might mean your right shoulder lifts up off the ground. That's okay. I'd rather your knees stay together and you work your shoulder back this time for this class. Not always the case. Now let that right leg out toward, let my right arm out towards the right as well. Nice, really big stretch for my chest. Nice little reset for the hips as they kind of stay squared together. Good, next inhale, let's come on back to center. Keep those knees together. Don't let the knees split or come apart. Drop everything over towards your right. A little easier for me to twist this way. Same thing, nice big stretch for my chest here. My knees are down onto the ground. There is definitely strength in my belly and my torso here. I'm definitely engaged. Not completely passive. And I'll take one more round of breath here. It just feels good. Don't really want to go anywhere. Then I'll inhale, come on back to center, feet down towards the mat. Sink into a Shavasana, whatever you feel is appropriate for you. A little shorter practice today, but nonetheless a good one that definitely got into it and opened up those hips. Take a moment to digest what you've just done. Maybe digest how you're feeling, noticing any changes from the beginning of practice to now. Perhaps in the stiffness or fluidity of your body, perhaps in the stiffness and or fluidity of your mind, perhaps shifts in emotions one way or the other. perhaps a feeling of mundane, just another practice. Wanted to do it, did it, got through it. No big, amazing realizations or anything like that. That is always part of our practice as well. It's not just the aha moments, the moments that that was rather routine. That was rather quote unquote normal. Make sure that we allow for those moments as well. We don't push them away as bad or good. We don't shun them or start to shun ourselves, believing we did something wrong, comparing that this practice wasn't as good as that last practice or the one before that. As always, you can remain in Shavasana for as long as you want, for as long as you need. Maybe it's a little meditative for you. Maybe you'd like to just take a nap. Perhaps you want to come up to a seat and meditate there. But if you are ready to close out practice with me, you can start to wake the body up in whatever way you see fit. A lot of times we suggest and allude to waking up slowly, like little muscles and movements at first, then big ones. But for me, like I said, I feel like moving a lot today. My hips still feel like they want to move. My torso still feels like it's want to move. So I kind of start waking up with those first rather than little movements, and rather quickly bring myself up to a seat. You might not take the same journey. You might take a very similar one. Does not matter. Once we are here, once we have arrived to this seat, just like I invite you in Shavasana to stay as long as you want, I invite you to stay here as long as you want. You can rest those hands on your knees in your lap or up at heart center. Know that I always, always appreciate you being here with me to share this practice. Mahalo, Malohia, and Namaste. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you joining. Have a great day.